This is LTV.
Inside Leominster is brought to you in part through the generous support of N.P. Crowley Company Incorporated and by DeCarolis Insurance Agency Incorporated, DeCarolisinsuranceagency.com, and by Enterprise Bank. Enterprise Bank creates success. EnterpriseBanking.com.
Hello and welcome to Inside Leominster. My name is Dean Mazzarella, Mayor for the city, and here we are live on this Thursday. Look, it's a fall Thursday. Definitely feels like fall out there. And we've had such good weather. Such good weather, you know, right through early, well, sort of mid-spring. Winter wasn't bad. We had a good spring, a hot and humid summer, if you like that, and more summer. And through the fall, and just now, just starting to kick into a pattern of normal temperatures. That's all it is. I mean, we've had snow. I look back, I forget how many years it was. I look back, and we actually had snow on the ground. What's the matter? My mic's not on? It fell? What happened? Where'd it go? Hang on, everybody. We got to find my mic. I'm not sure where it went. Oh, there it is. I guess it fell off my tie. How about that? Can you hear me now? Okay, sorry about that. I did put it on. I have proof. Oh, I see. There's not much room here. I see what happened here is this. Well, I'm going to put this up here for now. It was, this thing is heavy, whatever this thing's plugged into. Anyway, there you go. Well, we have several guests tonight, and as I said, the weather is nice. Put a little jacket or sweater on. It's good weather. Hey, the lights are blinking. You know what that means? Is that Art from the Art Report? Is that Art from the Art Report?
Yes.
Hey, Art.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. We're back on the saddle, as they say.
You know I'm a numbers guy. What are the odds? Now, I'm putting a house up for sale, so there's a tremendous amount of work to be done about emptying out stuff.
Yep.
And the stuff that I filled a dumpster already.
Wow.
And with that was a lot of memories. Don't the phone ring yet today from the girl that was with my wife Rita on the day we met.
Come on.
Can you imagine? And she lives somewhere in around Maryland, I think. Anyway, she's coming up here to visit friends, and we're going to get together. But she was riding around on a Friday night with Rita and my wife Rita, my late wife Rita, God rest her soul, was riding shotgun, and they were checking a drag in Fitchburg, and along come me and my 53 Ford. They went by and smiled, and it just happened to be a big fire in Fitchburg as we were heading up through the center of town. So we went to see the fire. We got out of the car. Who's at the fire? The girls. And that's how I met Rita.
Wow, that's like love at first sight.
And then she called today
Remarkable.
to remind me about that. And I said, I remember all of that, Linda. And to top it off, she's a cousin of mine.
Wow.
Her dad was Charlie Dyer of Lunenburg, the contractor.
Yeah.
This is his daughter I'm talking about.
Wow, look at you.
So you just never know. And now, getting ready to sell this house, I never realized it was so much work.
Yeah.
Between the realtor and between the throwing out, should we throw this, should we throw that? My son-in-law was here, my daughter, and we were throwing stuff out the window and into the dumpster, and oh my God almighty.
Well, it takes all this, you accumulate all this stuff. I'm going through the same thing. I'm taking my things and I'm going through them. I'm like, how long have I had this? Did I use it? Especially tools, things like that. I'm like, I haven't touched this thing in 15 or 20 years. And then you think to yourself, yeah, but I'm probably going to use it someday. And then you never do.
Yeah, and the memorabilia from my racing days. Like now, I've got an old WEIM racing jacket on, but I found a bunch of pictures I forgot I had that with Ronnie Bouchard and Buddy Baker, who was the first race car driver to go an average lap at Daytona at 203 miles an hour. And he come up to Fitchburg and did a show with me, and then we went to the Chanticleer after for a few brews, and it was the funniest thing. We sat in a booth, me, Ronnie, and Buddy Baker, who at the time was a superstar in NASCAR, and we were in the booth next to the door that went into the bar area. And I happened to notice all the guys at the bar, one of them kept staring and staring. And to make a long story short, I had to get up and use the facility, and they stopped me and said, we got a bet on who you're with. And I said, well, who's that? They said, Buddy Baker. I said, yeah, that's him. And that place went crazy. They couldn't believe that Buddy Baker, the Daytona 500 winner, was up here in Fitchburg in the Chanticleer having a cola with me.
Wow.
But it was fun stuff. And we found a lot of photos. My daughter did. She said, Dad, you can't get rid of this stuff.
Yeah.
I said, you're right. I'm not going to throw them out.
Right.
But I'm moving to Framingham as well.
I know. Well, you texted me, and I was getting a little bummed out there, like as if I'd never see you again. And I'm like, you can still call in, you know.
Oh, I'm gonna believe me, because I've already got my eyes on a 34 Ford hot rod. And once the house is sold and I've relocated, when the weather's good, I'll have me a yellow hot rod, just like in American Graffiti, a yellow one.
Yeah, but I mean,
if it's not yellow when I buy it, it will be.
You're going to still call.
I'll drive that up and say hi with it.
Yeah, you're going to still call and everything. You're going to stay in touch.
Oh yeah, of course. Absolutely.
Well, you made it sound like we weren't going to see or hear from you again. I'm like, oh, this is bumming me out.
Report from the ham. And then in closing, every grandfather's dream. My grandson at football 2 weeks ago, he was playing offense and defense tackle on both sides of the ball. I'm sorry, guard on both sides of the ball. And he created a fumble, and he recovered the fumble. And I went crazy. And he was celebrating. It was a great time, and they won the game. So it doesn't get any better than that.
Not at all. Not at all.
No.
Who were they playing?
I believe it was it was a team out of the Boston area, Roxbury Tech or something like that. I forget, but they beat them.
Nice.
Yep, we won it.
Good for them.
And now, like you said, with the dumpster, and I found tools I've never used. I don't know why I bought them.
Yeah, I'm going to the
it's
same
just
thing.
all kinds of stuff.
Yep.
But it could be worse. I just wish I wasn't doing it alone. But we can't change that.
No.
Having said that, get the rakes out, and congratulations to the new chief of police in the city of Leominster.
Yes.
I'm sure he'll do a fine job.
He'll do a great job.
Represented. When you promote within, you can't go wrong.
Right. All right, Art.
Take care.
All right. Stay in touch. That was Art from the Art Report. We're at 978-534-1626. We've got guests, so we got to move right along. We could take a short break, and we'll be right back here at Inside Leominster.
Cody Roy, I'm here with Blue Devils quarterback Osiris Lopez. Osiris, you guys had a great night tonight. Obviously, you had a great game tonight too, and you're having a great season. What's been working for you guys this year?
I mean, we're just playing. We're just doing what we do, and I mean, we're just playing Leominster football. We're just playing as a team, and I mean, we have a lot of chemistry, and it really shows out there because we always, I always know where Jadis is. I always know where Zach is. I always know where Juan when he played. I always know where Ricker is all the time. So I mean, our offense is just explosive, and we're unstoppable. So.
You were a very young team last year, and definitely that chemistry showing a lot more this year. And Ryan Ricker, especially, is a guy that's really stepping up this year. What's been different from him last year versus this year?
So our sophomore year, me and him really didn't because that was like his first year playing football again. And because he played in 8th grade with me, that was his first year playing football ever. So we always played flag together when we were younger, but his first year was 8th grade. I threw a couple passes to him. He was on my 8th grade team. And then freshman year, he was on like the freshman team. And then sophomore year, I was like, yo, we got to start hitting the field together. And we literally would, right up there, because I live real close by, I was like, yo, Ricker, we got to go to the field. And we came to the field all summer. And I mean, it really shows out here. So you got to just work with your guys and build that connection. And that's what we have. So.
Yeah, he's stepping up a lot. So now you guys are going to get Zavarian next week. Is there anything in particular you think you want to work on between this week and next week?
Definitely just executing our plays more because, I mean, realistically, we could have scored every time, and we just shot ourselves in the foot some plays, and it backfired on us. So realistically, we just got to clean some stuff up, but I think we'll be all right.
All right. Osiris Lopez, thank you. Have a good night tonight.
That's it. That's it. Another Leominster High Blue Devils win. And the quest for the states continues. All right. Do we have a phone call here? All right. Let's take the phone call first. Caller, welcome to the show.
Hey, Dino.
Hey, Crystal.
It's my birthday tomorrow.
I know. You're so excited. You started getting excited about 2 weeks ago.
I know.
You like your birthday. I'm not a big birthday person, but you are.
You should have been there at the Spanish American Center. Nettie did a good party for me.
She did. Well,
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's good. I appreciate when people get excited about their birthdays, and I can tell you've been getting excited for a long time.
And Jill's mom's gonna bring me to El Camino.
El Camino for your birthday?
Tonight, and then tomorrow I'm coming over to your shop.
My goodness, you have more birthday parties than anybody I know. Well,
I'll talk to you later, my friend.
I will
I'll see you Saturday.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Yep, bye.
All right. We're back here at 978-534-1626. And I can just tell you, I said this early on, if you really want to enjoy your holidays, plan it out. Even if it's on a piece of paper, or notes in your phone, whatever it might be, drawer on your refrigerator, whatever. Because if you don't, it's just going to come and whiz by, and you'll not have had the chance to do the things that you really enjoy. And maybe staying home and watching Hallmark movies is something that people enjoy, but you got to plan it out, right? Well, anyway, part of the plan here is we're already decorating trees. We're almost done decorating trees for the Festival of Trees, which will start on the 18th, which is Monday. So starting Monday, come on in. And another thing that you can put on your schedule is the Montechusett Chorale, because their holiday concert is coming up on December 1st at 2 o'clock. And it's $15 in advance, $20 at the door. You can get tickets at our office. Either way, sometimes people say, I'll get tickets at the door. The money just goes back. All the money that they raise, the proceeds always go back to a charity. So what the heck? So I pay at the door and I give an extra $5. What's wrong with that? That's not a bad thing at all. Anyway, let's see. Under 18 are free. And again, corral25@hotmail.com. Well, we're going to find out more right now about where this year's charity donation is going to go, because Jacylnn and Dustin DeLise are here with me. And so is your daughter. What's her name?
This is Cecilia.
That's it. What a nice. All right. Who gets credit for Cecilia?
I'll take it.
From where? How did somebody hear that name one day at the register at Market Basket?
Honestly, it probably subconsciously came from The Office. When Jim and Pam had a baby, they named it Cece, and that wasn't the intention at the time.
But it was
in
subliminal.
hindsight,
It was kind of stuck in the back of your mind.
There's no Cecilia in the family that we know of.
I wonder how many times people were at like a checkout, and the person had a name tag and had the name, and like, that's a really nice
That's
name.
a beautiful name.
Oh, right. I wonder if they know that somebody was named after them while they were checking out at the grocery store. Well, Cecile's here. As I said, she's very fashionable. Yeah. She's got her sweater, her shirt and pants that match, and her fall sweater on, and the bow in the hair, and she's got the little fashionable boots. So Cecile's here with us. So this year it's going to go back to, is it SPATA?
SPATA or SPATA, either one,
SPATA.
yes.
It's a foundation, a national organization that raises funds, educates and advocates for research on a rare genetic disorder, and it's SPATA 5L1, and I assume that's a gene?
It is.
And so explain it. Now, put it into, I read like the professional notes. Tell us in lay terms what this all means so I can understand.
Sure. So Cece was born with an ultra-rare genetic disorder. She has a mutation of her SPATA5 gene. So the SPATA Foundation raises awareness for both SPATA5 and SPATA5L1. They're like sibling genes. And
so we all have those genes?
everyone has 2 copies of the same gene. You
Okay.
get one from mom, one from dad.
Right.
Most genetic disorders, you require 1 bad copy from mom, 1 bad copy from
Right,
dad.
right.
And that was the case with Cecilia. So we found out when she was 10 months old.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she thinks about that.
Yeah.
We found out when she was 10 months old
Mm-hmm.
that she had this genetic condition. She acquired a bad copy from myself and from Dustin. And
But look, you got a beautiful young lady
Yes.
there. Look at her hair, everything.
yeah, yes,
And she's pretty content.
she is for now.
Yeah?
Fingers crossed. At the moment, she's doing good. Yeah.
Why though? I mean, do I have a calming effect on her?
You very
Because
well
I don't have a
might.
calming effect on anybody.
We're just lucky at the moment.
Yeah,
and it could
likes.
change in an instant.
Yeah. Does she have brothers and sisters?
She is an only child for now.
Yeah.
It is a lot to raise a child with disability.
Right.
So right now,
It's a lot of work.
A lot of work.
And the funds that get raised and go back is for research?
Yes. So right now, the SPATA Foundation is working on a very promising drug repurposing project. So that would entail taking FDA-approved drugs and possibly using them off-label.
Mm-hmm.
And
What would that do though?
it could help alleviate symptoms.
Right now? So have they gone through the trials part of it yet?
We have gone through a data screening.
Mm-hmm.
The next step is to test. Right now, we have a list of about 20 recommended drugs or molecules from the drugs.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to take those to our medical advisory board. They're going to give us maybe a list of 10, and they're actually going to test them out on genetically modified tadpoles.
Wow.
So there is a CC tadpole at
Yeah.
a lab in Medford right now, and so
Wow.
those drugs will be tested.
And that's basically her genetic, that's basically
that is-
her.
yes.
Instead of doing it on her, it's her.
Yes.
In tadpole form.
In a tadpole form. Yes.
Incredible.
Yes. There's about 15 kids right now who are participating in it because it's all out of pocket. There's no insurance coverage.
Right.
There's no NIH grant money or state money. So it's all very expensive. The cost of the kits, the cost
And you have to pay
To-
this personally?
all on our own and out of the generosity of.
And the insurance company doesn't pay?
Nope, this is not covered
So
under
it's all
insurance.
for you, and a
Yeah.
chance that it will help with some of the symptoms that she has.
Yes, to just alleviate some of the symptoms as we work towards our ultimate goal, which would be gene therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's amazing. How old is she now?
She turned 7 in August.
7.
Yes.
I see a smile in there.
Yeah.
I see a smile in that 7.
She likes being on camera, I think.
She's very photogenic.
Yeah.
Lucky
Yeah.
7. So it is amazing what's happening in the world of science and so many advancements. I know sometimes we think they don't move quick enough, but for someone else down the road, this could be life-changing for them.
Yes, and the science is there. The science is there, the technology is there. It just comes down to money. Ultra-rare genetic diseases are often overlooked when it comes to funding, when it
Right.
comes to state grants or NIH grants, federal grants. The rarer, the further down
Well,
the list they
yeah,
get shoved, and so
right.
the burden falls on the families to raise the money. Anything can be done with money.
What makes her happy?
Oh,
So she loves to swim.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
She likes
Yeah.
the water.
She loves
Loves
being
the
in the
She doesn't
water.
mind the cold water?
She
That she
I wouldn't go too
You
far
get a
with that.
reaction out of her for that?
Yeah. She
You and
likes,
I are all alike. I like my
Yeah.
water at like 70.
yes,
She
yeah.
likes a nice warm pool. She loves her puppy. She likes lollipops and chocolate and tasting things and just snuggles.
She's a good
bouncing
snuggler,
around.
huh?
Yeah.
This is very- yes.
Her head fits right into that shoulder of yours
Yes.
right
She
there.
does. Yep, she's daddy's little girl for sure.
So you're going to get a chance, anybody that's out there, you get a chance to not only help with fundraising, but you get a chance to see another one of the Montechusett Chorale holiday concerts, and I can just tell you from personal experience, they start rehearsing in August, and it's Pete's boot camp, and he brings he knows the potential of each of the vocalists, and he works hard on them to reach their full potential. And when they have that concert, you can miss a lot of things for the holiday season. You don't want to miss this concert because it's right at City Hall. Everything is decorated. There is no other place where we have concerts. There's a group that practices at City Hall, but their concert's going to be at Fitchburg State. And they're like, I said, well, why do you have it here? No other place looks like the holidays more than this place does. But anyway, you'll get a chance to see the Festival of Trees. And then every once in a while, every so many years, when the concert's over, for some reason, it starts snowing. Just as you walk out the door. All lights are on downtown. So anyway, this is dual purpose. And this is going to go directly to helping you, to help her with this next round of trials.
Yes.
So,
yes, and to just continue to put money in the funds and just keep taking it further and further. And if you come to the concert, you'll get to meet Cece as well.
Yeah, she's going to be. Now, the question will she be in holiday fashion?
Yes. Oh,
she'll
yes.
be dressed.
Yes, she'll be dressed.
Who's her
to
fashion
impress.
designer?
That
You?
would be, yes.
She's really, I mean, she's all like done up.
I am the picker-outer of the outfits.
But at 7, they grow so fast.
They do.
So you got to do the whole
Yes.
trading thing, or have cousins or something where they can
Yeah.
switch off
Yeah,
or
a
go
lot
to a
of
consignment
hand-me-downs.
place, and because they just grow so fast.
Yep, a lot of
She's
Facebook
going to be
swap
tall.
groups. She is tall.
Yeah.
Yes, she gets that from Dad's side of the family.
Dad's tall. He's got the DeLise height.
You got it.
Well, thank you for coming on. And I got educated on something. You're right. The rarer the disease, they just don't get the publicity sometimes. And that's why I think it's nice that, the Montechusett Chorale is picked this as a fundraiser, because it's more direct. We can actually see, where the proceeds are going to go, and somebody that it's going to help. So, I mean, they may have to manipulate this over time to get just the right. Is that how it works? They test and test and
Yeah.
They will, yes. So what they'll do, so we'll test the list of 10 that our medical advisory board is going to suggest to us, and if we don't see any success, we'll try
something else.
The other list of 10.
But it doesn't have to be done directly on her. I mean,
No.
it's done outside of her.
It's done on, yes, and then we have mouse models being produced as well, so they can be tested on mouse models.
Wow.
The other exciting aspect of it is if pieces of the drug work, but not a whole drug, they can
modify
create
it. Yeah.
a drug specifically for these kiddos to help alleviate some of the symptoms and just give them, a better quality of life, a better day-to-day. So it's exciting. It's exciting stuff, and we're really grateful, to live in the time that we do that we can do these.
And she's got
these
great
things.
parents,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And we're very thankful to the community. I mean, I grew up Lunenburg, Leominster,
Yeah.
Fitchburg, and to have the chorale do this for us means
It's really
means
nice.
a ton.
They're
Yeah.
a
Yes.
thoughtful group, I can tell you that.
Yes.
And for you having us on here, thank you very
Oh,
much.
anytime. You can let us know. Now I'm intrigued by this whole thing, and you'll have to come on once in a while and update us on the progress.
Oh, we would absolutely
Just to let
love
us know.
it.
She's somewhat of a local celebrity, so she has a beer named after her at Sterling Street Brewery.
Ooh.
Yeah, so if you
Yes.
ever have a Sweet Cecilia, this is the Cecilia it's named after.
Now I'm going to have to make a point of it.
Yes, it's a raspberry sour, and a portion of
Whoa,
those.
that's even better.
A portion of those sales will go to the SPATA Foundation as well. So we're really, really grateful for the Central Mass community.
And anybody out there that wants to sort of jump in on a fundraiser, maybe the family's saying, you know what, we have everything we need. Do we really have to go out and buy gifts for each other? We're pretty set, okay. Maybe this year we're going to do a family fundraiser, and everything is going to go to a particular, charity. This might be one that is local. I mean, you can actually, this is like the money is going directly to somebody that you can see and know, and she has a bear name after her at
Yes.
Sterling Street Brewery. I mean, it doesn't get any closer than that.
And all the money to the charity, we don't have paid employees. There's no,
Right.
it's all volunteer.
Right, of
Everything
course.
goes directly to, research.
No administrative
No.
fees or
No.
anything.
No.
Nope, we don't take anything out of the funds for flyers or business cards or anything. And we've been really, really grateful for people to donate supplies. We have a lawyer who did pro bono work for us to go over the contract for the drug repurposing project. So just all of those little things just make...
Community jumps in.
Yes.
And it sounds like you have a pretty supportive family as well.
We do.
We do.
And that's a big help when you have a good backbone structure like that to help you out.
Yes, it's good to have family when you have children in general, but when you have a child with disabilities, it is, you rely heavily on other people around you, and it humbles you, the people that will come in and help, and being able to ask for help of any kind, whether it's financial help for the foundation or, you know, we have Mom out there waiting in case
Mom's
she needs
out there on
to
deck.
scoop her out just in case. So
I find that when sometimes people don't know how to help, and sometimes they're waiting for you to tell them, you know, how to help.
Yes.
On the other hand, sometimes you're waiting for them to do something to help. But I think for me, it's helpful when somebody says, hey, you could do this. Here are some things that we need some help with. If you could do one of these things, you know, and a bunch of people jump in and they can help, that's helpful for me when, rather than somebody, well, I don't know, just do something. Well, I don't know what to do.
It could be anything.
Tell me
There's a long list of things people could do.
Exactly.
On my end, I just, you know, the thing that's helpful is just sharing Facebook posts. You know, when it comes to the foundation, just sharing Facebook posts, sharing any type of donation link. If it can just get across, you know, to the right person that could help in any way, like just those small things. It doesn't cost anything. You're already scrolling on social media anyways. Just
that's another way of the millions of ways to help.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're wearing a T-shirt today, and I learned more about this in the last 10 minutes than I knew earlier today, although I did have some cheat notes. But
that's
and I
okay.
Googled it, but you put it into better terms and explained it much better. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much
and
for having us. This is a really wonderful opportunity.
Get her home and get her some chocolate and, and a pop, and get her back to her puppy. And
Yes.
Little too chilly for swimming, but
no swimming.
do the
No
other
swimming.
stuff.
It's 70 or out. That's it. I'll jump in, you know, when it gets really hot in the summertime, but, you know, I'll stay in for a few minutes, but I'm more of the warm water type.
Yeah, bath water, warm.
All right, we're taking a short break here. Again, our phone number is 978-534-1626, and we'll be right back with more.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the match, Rando!
No clue that this is what you were doing. You know, I thought it was one of those, you know, the typical ones that you see, It's with me back there because I've been known to wrestle in the past, and I might have to take Scott on the next time that we have a wrestling match. Look at, speaking of cold water, I got ice in my water here. You guys are taking good care of me.
You're welcome. Are you going to wrestle me still?
No, I'll let you off the hook. All right, we're back, and I got to say, I was visited, I don't know, it's almost a couple of years ago that I had a visit, and Joe Bolton came in to see me, and Kelly had said, this guy Joe Bolton wants to talk to you. He's writing a book. And I said, another guy writing a book? What's his book about? And she told me a little bit about it, and I said, oh, that sounds interesting. So Joe came in with like this much excitement and this much energy and this much information. But in just a couple of minutes, I realized that the inspiration for all of this was really your family and friends and people. That was the inspiration.
Yes,
by
by actual
this.
French Canadian ancestors. So, like a lot of people in this area, I'm French Canadian. My mother's family came from Quebec, and a lot of other families come from Acadia, New Brunswick.
Right.
So.
Moncton and all that
Moncton,
area up
very
there.
famous.
Yeah.
So what I did, these are the books right here, and there's no other, I would say right now, there's no other books like these.
There isn't.
Anywhere.
This is thorough.
And they're called Old Grandmother's Tree. There's 2 volumes. And they're generously sponsored by the Leominster Cultural Arts Council.
Right, they gave you a grant last year.
They gave me a grant last year to do this book. So, but what I did is I took my actual historic French Canadian and Algonquin Native American ancestors, and I retold their story using original folklore stories. And so this is a folklore world of old Quebec with First Nation, Native American trickster animal characters, a little bit of magic. And as a result, we have these 2 books. There's 10 stories in them, 40,000 words, and between the 2 volumes, about 600 pages, and over 450 full-color illustrations. Not done by myself. There's a young woman in Toronto.
I know, you were telling me that.
And she's a wonderful
Unbelievably
young lady.
talented.
And
She captures the
worked
moment.
hard,
Chapter
too.
6 is Charles, the Wrestler of Hearts. And the illustrations are just speak for themselves.
Yes. I actually start the story off with a historic woman named, an Algonquin ancestor of mine named
Which I can't say the name.
No, and I'm not really pronouncing it well either. But her
Say
name
it.
is Mitio Goku.
Mitio
And I just learned this past week, and I actually visited the Algonquins in Pembroke, Ontario, because the story is Algonquin. And they love the book up there. In fact, they're going to put it in their libraries in Pembroke, Ontario. They're going to put it in the visitor center of the Algonquin Provincial
Let me just take
Park.
this call here. The light's blinking.
Okay.
It might be for you, it might not. Caller, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I just wanted to call your attention to an incident we had on Sacramento Drive 2 weeks ago tomorrow.
Was that the fire?
Yes. And my wife was scared. She called me at work, and I told her I'm just getting out of work. I was over by the airport. I came right home, and I'll tell you what, the guys did a fantastic job
Yes.
stopping that fire.
They were on it quick.
Yeah,
That thing could have.
They called in a group, and they were right on it. And
Yep.
It took about an hour to get it all wetted down, but now, I don't know how that started. If it was a spark from a train or what, but
Probably the train. And you know what? With the winds that are moving so quick, if they don't hit it hard,
exactly.
that thing could turn into something big. And so luckily it was captured.
to the residents of Sacramento Drive, I want to say thank you.
Sure, good. I hope they're watching. If not, I will pass it on to them.
The fire department did a great job. Talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you. And we thank them. Yeah, those fires are labor intensive because you can't always get equipment right to it. And even if you can, it's widespread, so you can't get equipment all around it. So, and the wind direction changes, and there's smoke, and you get all that gear on, and you get dehydrated, and pulling hoses, and those things are heavy. And yeah, it's no fun.
Right.
It's no fun. Anyway.
So she's a historic person.
Yes.
And her life has been well documented by the Jesuits. And I just learned from the Algonquins up in Ontario that her name means keeper of the waters of the medicine lodge.
Wow.
They think that she was a medicine woman.
Right. She was the doctor.
She was a doctor,
Yeah.
yes.
You
and a
tell her what's
midwife.
wrong with you, and she'll get you the right
Yes.
stuff.
Well, anyway, when she was 22 years old, she was happily married to another Algonquin. They had 2 small children living in Trois-Rivières in Quebec. And the Mohawks came up, raided the settlement. Her husband was killed in the attack, and the Mohawks took her 2 small children.
Oh.
She never saw them again.
Oh, my goodness.
And so that's such an amazing story to have that happen to you at 22 years old. You lose everything. But 5 years later, she married a French settler named Pierre Cauque. And together, they became my ancestors, my 9th grade grandparents. So the first 2 stories of the book tell the story of
lays
their
out the
marriage.
foundation. Right.
Yes.
Right. Because this sounds a lot like some of Louis Charpentier's creations that he did early on as a young boy. In his memory, a lot of what I saw through the book was that.
Yes, absolutely. And so it goes through their descendants, my ancestors, my great-grandparents, on a farm in Quebec, and they have the farm animals.
That's it.
They talk, they have their adventures. And
Lights go out at night, it's dark.
Yes.
They got the fire going.
And these stories, they're appropriate for everybody. So they're written in a way that you can read them to your children, you can read them to your grandchildren, but as an adult, you will enjoy these stories. So they're not boring to you because they're children's stories. They're stories for everybody.
The nice part, as I'm thumbing through, is it's one story at a time.
Yes.
And my problem reading a book is I start, I don't pick it up again for 2 weeks, I got to start all over again.
Right.
And here, it's a different story every time, and each story is would you say how many stories in each one?
There's 5 stories in each book, 10 stories.
And what I suggest is if you get to Leominster Access Television and record each story, about how long would it take you to record each story if you read each one?
It varies. Some stories probably could be like maybe 25, 30 minutes.
So I think you record each story, and then they can play it on, at different times.
Yes,
on Leominster.
absolutely. Absolutely.
On why do I keep saying LTV?
Yes.
It's our radio station.
Right. Right.
And LPZ. Is the call letters, and and then it's there forever.
Okay.
Because people today everything's different. It's we're going to have a podcast studio here. How soon is that going to be, Scott?
It's done.
It's done.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't even get the memo.
Well, we're sending out the alert this week that podcasts are going out.
Nice. You could do podcasts right here and turn each one into a podcast.
Oh, I'd love to do
because
that.
today everybody does things differently,
Right.
And but there were such interesting stories, and many of these stories resonate. Well, come back to here to Leominster in places like Waltham, places like Gardner, places like Lewiston, Maine, or Auburn, Maine. A lot of French Canadians came from these areas, and their ancestors are part of these stories right here.
In fact, I'm almost certain that there are people in Leominster who are also descendants of this woman, Mitio Goku, and her husband, Pierre Cauque. She's the ancestor of thousands of French Canadians in the United States and Canada. And I actually met one of those ancestors when I was up in Pembroke, Ontario, in the Algonquin community.
Is that where Pembroke, Mass came from?
Maybe one or the other.
I mean, unless there was somebody named Pembroke that was out in Pembroke.
It was a long drive, but it was a great experience to actually meet them. But
so French Canadians, and there are plenty in this area.
Yes.
You've got to pick this up. Joe put a lot of work behind it. He did get a grant, and I can say, well spent. Dollars well spent. And now it's here forever. It's here
and it
forever.
will be available in the Leominster Public Library as well. Yep.
And just pick it up. Start with volume 1. And some of the stories are like 10 or 15 minutes. Not all of them are 22 minutes, but some of them are shorter.
No, shorter. And you can read them in any order that you want.
Right.
Although the stories together tell a bigger story, they can stand alone. So you don't have to feel like you have to start from the beginning at volume 1. If you find a story in volume 2 that you'd like to read, go ahead and read right into it.
They're a lot of fun, entertaining. When you start reading them, you're going to want to read right through each story. But these are set up for me because there's a beginning and an end for each story.
Yes.
And that's the happy part. It's kind of like an article in a newspaper or a magazine. There's a beginning and an end.
Right.
And you don't have to be too overwhelmed, but it is a whole collection. of French-Canadian folk tales.
And I've actually started volume 3.
Oh, you did already?
I've actually started it and done some of the preliminary artwork on some of the stories that I've actually written.
Now you have it in other language?
I have it in French.
In French.
And I had an idea also. I'm going to start working with the Algonquin community to actually have it in Algonquin.
Oh, because that's their own dialect.
Yes, yes.
It's different than
so
some
I
of the
think
other...
that would actually really be, these books are unique just from the way they're constructed and the stories, the illustrations, but then available in 3 languages maybe.
I just want to show real quick, I'm holding the books, but it doesn't do justice. And again, when I first talked to Joe, I thought, well, you know, another guy's going to put out a book and, you know, it'd be fun and everything, but never did I ever expect anything to come in. Look, this is unique. I mean, this is like Barnes & Noble unique. Mm-hmm. And in the back of volume 2, it says, a history of family connections, cunning trickster animals and adventures untold, the second volume of Old Grandmother's Tree, a collection of French-Canadian folk tales, expands the beautiful compilation of folk tales seen in volume 1, set against the backdrop of early 20th century Quebec.
Right.
Well said. That's
Yes.
exactly what it is. And there's so many good stories in here. And the artwork, again, she did a great job.
She worked so hard.
Did you ever meet her, or have you just sending things?
Oh, yes. We actually
did.
met in Pembroke. She lives in north of Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
So Pembroke was about 4 hours drive. So I drove 8 hours to Pembroke, and she drove 4 hours up there as well. And we met with the Algonquin community together.
So tell me about how big is that particular area up there? So what they say, now I want to get to Canada. I want to see where the people who settled in this area, who came here.
Right.
I want to see where they live, where they came from. I want to get a feel for it.
Quebec is a beautiful province. It's called the Belle Province. I would recommend, if you've never been to Quebec, the first place I would go is not Montreal or Quebec City, is go to a small town called Magog, and it's like 20 minutes over the border from Vermont. And it's 3 hours, 45 minutes drive from Leominster. So think about that. That's so close.
You need a passport to get in?
Yes, you do need a passport to get in.
So that's it? That's that close?
Quebec is that close, and the people of Magog are very friendly. And in fact, I set some of the stories in a fictionalized town based on Magog.
You
with
liked
the
it
mountain,
so much.
Mount Orford. Oh yeah, they were very great people. And so if you want to experience Quebec and the people of it and the mountains, and there's a beautiful lake up there called Magog.
Is it a town? They have a downtown and all that?
They have a downtown. They have restaurants. And you can try to speak French. And if you don't speak French very well, it's okay. A lot of people speak English. And
well, they're so close to the border, I'm sure.
Right, yeah. And there's a great ski mountain up there, Mount Orford, which I love skiing up there. And with the exchange rate, the tickets are really inexpensive. And so if you want to visit Quebec and you've never been there, you just go straight up north from Leominster, 3 hours, 45 minutes.
91, you take a 91 all the way
91, 93.
To 93.
That's it. It's, it's highway all the way up. And
all right, now I have to go.
You have to go.
I'll have to go.
You have to go.
We'll take Stott and the crew up there, and we'll have to Skype. We used to do Skyping here. You still have the capabilities to Skype back? Or FaceTime, I guess?
It's Zoom now, but yeah.
And you could do that live? I mean, if I wanted to zoom in from somewhere, you could...
We'll have to update it, but yeah.
Yeah, because we used to Skype in from places in the past. I Skyped in.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
So actually meet the people that live there. And did you meet anybody up there that has relatives here or vice versa?
I met a woman who was working as a ski instructor at Mount Orford, and she said that her family left Quebec, her grandparents left Quebec, and settled down here in Massachusetts. And then her parents returned back to Quebec from Massachusetts. Wow. So people go, cross back and forth.
I'm amazed that people like that lived in that Moncton area in the Brunswick. They would go back and forth like it was going back to Fitchburg or something.
Oh, I know.
They go back and forth like nothing.
I know. And
their family. A lot of them still have family there.
They
and
do.
Mothers and fathers
it's really interesting when
if there's nobody there, then you visit once in a while.
I go to St. Cecilia's Church, and I'm always amazed that sometimes I come out of Mass, and I see especially the older folks that come out, they're speaking French among themselves.
Still? Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
and you go to the Acadian Fest, and they're speaking French in the kitchen. Yeah. And because I know a little bit of French, I'll use it as an opportunity to speak French with them as well.
Use your practice, yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, they very much keep the culture and support
And I think
that
that's
church.
so
And
wonderful.
It's special because I can't tell you what's going to happen in 50 years from now or 25.
Right, yeah.
But it is amazing to see it because I grew up around all that. That's just something that was normal.
It's wonderful.
People speaking English, Italian or speaking French, Canadian. That dialect is French Canadian.
And one of the reasons why I wrote these books was so that people, grandparents, parents who really care about passing on that cultural heritage, these books become a way to engage the children and grandchildren.
Right.
And
so they tell me Moncton's really gotten big.
I've never been to.
No, I got to go there. I mean,
I want to go.
They say it's gotten pretty big. It's a big area now. But you're going to have to make sure you email me, myself and Kelly, the name of that town, because now I'm like destined to get there.
Oh, Magog.
Yeah.
Yes.
How many people in Magog?
It's actually, I would say I'd have to look it up, but I think Magog is probably about the same size as Leominster.
Yeah. All right.
And it'll remind you of. You go to the downtown area and it says, "Oh, this looks like home." And
did you have relatives there, or just part of the story brought you there?
No, I just moved the story there because I loved it, and I didn't want to use a real town, because then you're kind of constrained, especially you're telling folk tales. That can make up my own town, and make an imagination. And other interesting thing that happened on this trip, I just went up to Canada. I just came back Friday.
Yeah. Where'd you go?
Actually stopped. I stopped at the Mohawk Reservation in just south of Montreal, just over the New York border. And I stopped at the Shrine of Saint Catering in her tomb. And I actually came in there with
Is this up 87? Is that how you get there?
Yeah,
87?
I went up to, I went to Magog and then turned west and drove on Route 10, towards Montreal. So I stopped on the way to Pembroke.
Yeah.
But I was there, and I went to Mass that morning, and I sat next to a Mohawk woman, and I had these books with me. I just take them everywhere. And she looked at the books, and she asked me about them. And I explained, and she was very intrigued. And then I showed her one story in volume 1, the last story. I dedicated it to my brother who passed away from alcoholism back last Christmas Eve.
Oh.
And she looked at me and she said, my son struggles with alcoholism. So, I gave her the books. I gave her a hug. I said, I understand what that's like to have, that in your family. But I really like the idea that these books are already doing what I hope they do, and that they build bridges and they make connections between people.
Right.
And and the lady who was running the shop.
You're going to be like
shrine,
the personal ambassador here, delivering these books.
I've gone quite a way, and now they're for sale. Actually, the lady who's running the shop, the boutique, at the shrine said, "I like these books," and so I gave her some, and they're for sale. So actually, these books are for sale in Quebec.
Look at you. You're big time. Now you're official. See, when people start buying your books, you're an official author.
Yes, international author.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
And like Robert Cormier often used Leominster in his books. His surroundings, French Hill, and he called them different things.
Right.
And so and I think this comes at a perfect time when that's still there. There are still people speaking French.
Yes, still speaking French.
And they've been here for decades. They're still hanging on to the culture, and hopefully there are other generations ahead who will hang on to that. And even when I go to St. Cecilia's, I'm still amazed at how many French Canadians still go to that church, sit in the same pew, hold on to their wife's hands, walk in, open the door, and then, as you said, either gather on the 3rd Street side or out front and spend another half hour catching up.
And in French. In French. And before I forget that, I don't know if your people in the audience can see, but we got rained out for the French Canadian Festival.
Right, first one.
But we are not going to get rained out this year.
No rain this year.
Because we are having...
It only rained twice this year, and that was one of the days.
I know. But we're going to have it on June 21st, Saturday, and it's going to be at the Eagles Club on Litchfield Avenue.
Is that the first day of summer?
Yeah, and it's going to be long. It's going to.
It's at the Eagles. That's right.
The Eagles Club.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be from 4 to 8. We're going to still have the two great French Canadian bands. Magnolia is a Acadian band, and José Fachon, who's like a French Canadian bilingual, sings in French and English. She's from Maine. She's really big in the community.
What's that girl's name there? The lady's name? Julie Roy? Is it Julie Roy?
Julie Roy. Yeah.
She's in Canada. I think
Yep.
that's where she's at. But she's a big country western singer.
Oh, yeah, and
She's
maybe
from-
we'll have her next year.
She's got the roots from here.
Yes.
Maybe you try to get her.
I should. Julia Roy.
Roy, yeah.
Roy,
From
okay,
the
I'll
Roy
have to look
family.
her up,
The Roy.
'cause-
It used to be the Roys. That was the name of
Right,
the band.
right.
Yeah, they're a band.
So if by some chance it rains, we're going to move it indoors. So we will have this festival, and it'll be the very first one for Leominster.
Well, maybe it's kind of a blessing. The books are out. People have a chance to read them.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
All right, Joe. Hey, thanks. If anybody wants to reach out to you and they want to buy books or they want you to come and speak maybe somewhere. Or,
Oh, I absolutely love to do that.
Did you give any to the church at all? Did they have a
Yes,
copy
actually,
yet?
Monsignor Moroni has those books.
Yep.
He has a copy. We're going to meet and talk about them. I don't want to speak for him, but I will say that he does like the books.
Yeah.
So he does.
He's a good guy.
And so he has a copy, and we're going to meet later to talk about that.
But I strongly suggest you do the podcast, record them, read, and even if you get guests to read them, maybe get some French Canadians to read the stories.
Oh, I'd love to.
You know what I mean?
And maybe we could have like different people act different characters.
Exactly.
And that would be really fun.
And then from the podcast, you can then send them off to the WLPZ, and then they can play them. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So you got, you
Yes.
know, you've got different mediums there. Well, Joe, thanks for coming on. That's
Oh,
great.
thank you. Thanks
I'm
for
happy
having
for
me.
you. I could see the excitement the first day I met you, and I'm glad that now you got them, and they're in print. They're right
real.
here now.
They're real books.
You have your trunk full of these things just in case?
I do.
Huh?
Because I
never know
I'm
who you're gonna
happy-
bump
I'm
into.
actually happy to give them to people because I'm like, you know what? You're going to love this book.
Yeah.
That's why I give it to you.
Wait right here. I have something for you.
Yes.
All right, we're taking a short break here, and they're going to come back and update you. We have so much to talk about. We got 42 trees already set up at City Hall, and we're going to be opening on the 18th, and we're going to go right through a full month to the 19th of December, and you'll be able to come and view, even on the weekends, you'll be able to come and view. You'll be able to come and view when the City Hall is open. It costs you nothing, zero. And you can, there is a spot where you can make little quarter donations. And at the end, we count them all up. And that decides who, we have like a contest. And that decides who has the best tree. These are bragging rights for a whole year.
That's right.
Anyway, that's what's happening. We'll take a real short break, everybody. And we're coming back because I have a lot to catch up on. Thanks, Joe.
Okay. Thank you.
We now have the national anthem by our award-winning Leominster High School band.
And we're back here. It was wonderful Veterans Day exercises at City Hall. And this year we took a little bit of a different approach, and that was veterans. Please let us thank you. Let us, as a community, thank you. And every day should be Veterans Day, and we try to make it that way here in Leominster. We do our best to make every day Veterans Day, but this is a special day. Please, just 1 hour, and we're over by a couple minutes. Not any lengthy speeches. Just come in, let the community thank you. And whether that was it, or the weather was good, or a combination of things, and it was a packed house, and we had more veterans that we saw in uniform. In uniform. What are you showing me? 5 minutes. 5 minutes left? Oh, okay. So I got to get moving. Anyway, thank you to everyone that came to Veterans Day ceremonies. Oh boy, I need to. I'm speaking and it's writing messages. Okay, let's get some slides in here. Don't forget the Montechusett Corral, December 1st at 2 o'clock. Festival of Trees opens up on Monday, the 18th. This weekend is the Hazardous Waste Collection Day. It's the 16th, which is Saturday, 109 Graham Street, 9 to 12 o'clock. Registration is not required, and they will have the mobile paper shredder there. So all your old love letters, you can bring them down and they'll grind them up for you. You can go to leominster-ma.gov and they'll give you all the specific items that they will take and won't take. All right, let's try some slides, kiddos. This is the updated numbers for COVID, 812 in the last 7 days in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Leominster at the bottom there has 3, 11 deaths, 1 is too many. You would think by now that we wouldn't even be talking about this, but we are. So be careful. Pneumonia out there. So many people that I met had pneumonia. Be careful. It's Children's Day. It's National American Teddy Bear Day. National Family PJ Day. Everybody get those PJs out today and celebrate National Family PJ Day. National Seatbelt Day, Operating Room, Nursing Day. Thank you to all those nurses who work so hard in the OR, and World Diabetes Day. 1960, Ray Charles did that famous song, Georgia on My Mind. It was #1. 1965, United States government sends 90,000 soldiers to Vietnam. How could we forget that? And in 1991, Michael Jackson's Black or White music video with groundbreaking morphing effects premieres simultaneously in 27 different countries. And in 1997, Disney's The Lion King made $2.7 million in one day. And in 2013, Boston gangster Whitey Bulger is sentenced to 2 consecutive life terms plus 5 years for his crimes. He never made it through. He was killed in prison. Let's see. Pictures of the week. There we are at New England Wire. We took a tour there the other day, and what a wonderful operation. They employ a lot of people. It's a big family business. You see the person third to the left. That's Charles Peters. He started this company. And his son is standing next to me and all of their children right there. So, and also Amanda and, yeah. So anyway, we took a tour. Wind waste meeting at Franco Vets. They want to increase the consumption from 1,000 tons a day to add another 500. This is the very beginning of the process. I couldn't say it any better, such a tremendous turnout, honoring our veterans. The place was packed. The band was great. The 15th was there, all the veterans groups. We gave out some awards. It was outstanding. So thank you all for coming. We had the police, fire, EMA, Color Guard. What a day. Opening of Soul Kitchen. What a beautiful job they've done in it. It's in the old Mezcal. And they have paid attention to everything. I love the chicken. I love the chicken. That's all I could tell you. If there's nothing else in it, I go in there and I'm in a hurry and I'm just going to eat one thing. It's going to be the chicken. People voted, and boy, did they vote. Almost 20,000 people here voted in Leominster, and thank you. That is the one thing that so many countries in the world cannot do, and we can disagree on the elections and everything else in between, but we voted. Hey, the new windows are in, the lights are on, and we haven't had new windows in that building. Oh, my goodness, the originals were in, and then later they did some in the 70s or the late 60s. We replaced them all. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Don't forget to come on in starting the 18th. Leominster Fire Department responds to city brush fires. Happy birthday to Mr. Williams, 99 years old, and he was recognized at our veterans event, but I went to his birthday party at the Columbia Tavern. He's sharp as a tack, for real, and fit as a fiddle. And there we are, our new police chief, Chief Pilatus, packed house. There's his family, and it was quite a moving day. It was pretty emotional at times, I could tell you. And we're real proud, and he's going to lead us in the right direction here in the city of Leominster. And And it was a wonderful day, and he's been acting chief, and we know what he's capable of, and it means good things for our city, our police department, and you. Look at that. You'll never get a picture with retired, sworn police officers. Never get a picture like that. And there we are, walk through today that they did for the chief. We're out of time here inside Leominster. Thanks for watching. Good night. God bless you. Remember, the world is run by those who show up. Thanks for showing up. Those are flamingos on my tie.
Inside Leominster is brought to you in part through the generous support of N.P. Crowley Company Incorporated and by DeCarolus Insurance Agency Incorporated, DeCarolusInsuranceAgency.com, and by Enterprise Bank. Enterprise Bank creates success. EnterpriseBanking.com.
This is LTV.